Is it just me, or am I the only one who am getting sick of these glass phones? They all just do the same. They're all the same shape. Do you know what I really miss? What I really miss is these. This phone, the A71 from 2008, I think is almost the near perfection of what a mobile phone should still be. Now, you heard me right. I'm recording this in 2025, and I wish that I had a phone like this instead of a phone like this, because this is boring. Plus, I love the fact that it's got buttons and scroll bars. And of course, what this phone didn't have was a touch screen. Although it had a scroll bar and keyboard, it didn't have touch screen. But that's where the BlackBerry comes in. This BlackBerry was made in 2012. Now, of course, the first iPhone came out in 2007. So this is 5 years after the iPhone. But unlike the Nokia A71, this one had a touchscreen. And all of this got me thinking, why can't we have phones like this again? Why can't either somebody replicate this with the beautiful, gorgeous, metal edging, stylish, just with updated hardware, updated software, or even BlackBerry making a comeback? You see, what I actually miss from the old days is the fact that a phone was a phone, and you still needed to buy tickets for your train, tickets for your bus, tickets for parking, tickets for a concert, tickets even for your flight. But now everything is just an app. Everything is an app. Ordering food is an app, paying your bills is an app, even, and I'm old enough to not have gone through this, but even dating is now all in an app. And I also think there's just too much social media. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, I do love social media. YouTube, TikTok are my two favorites, of course. Everyone's got their own way, but I mean, it's kind of creating social isolation. Plus, not to mention all the notifications, the constant bombardment of updates and this, that, and the other. Whereas back in the old days, you got a message, you got a picture message, or you got an email, and the rest was left to the real world, IRL. And for a lot of younger people out there, you've never experienced this type of phone anymore. You've only ever lived in an app overloaded world where everything is an app, and you've never got to experience just having a phone, just for talking, just for videoing. You still had a whole world out there of social interaction. When you went out dating, you still had to go out and meet people, go to events, go to functions, go to bars, nightclubs, whatever your place, the local library. But now it's all in an app, and I mean, the videos I keep seeing on TikTok is people are like, they're having a really hard time. Men don't get any matches, and women only seem to meet freaks. At least that's what the videos are telling me. But in the old days, you went out. If you went to a bar on a night out on a Friday, more than likely you were single, you were happy to be out, be sociable, have fun, and you bump into people, you get to talk to them. You didn't need an app. And of course, app overload is one thing, but what about doom scrolling? I mean, we never doom scrolled on these phones because there was nothing to doom scroll. You maybe needed to look something up on the web, or you needed to write an email or send a message or take photos of that type of thing, but you weren't on this thing constantly like this. You weren't stuck to it, glued to it. So I don't know, I'm starting to wonder, am I the only person who thinks that this was the peak perfection of the mobile device? And not only that, there was a lot more individuality. You know, having a BlackBerry was different from having a Nokia. Both of them are great. Both of them had their fans. And then, of course, there's the question of size. You know, things fitting in your pocket nicely. So let's take the example of the iPhone 4. I remember having an argument with somebody when I bought an HTC. I went from this to HTC, which was a lot bigger. And someone said, oh, it's too big. Why would you need a phone that big? But of course, once you had an HTC or the equivalent, these look dinky, and now they do, because you look at this, the iPhone that came after it had a much, much bigger screen. No one was then complaining that these phones are too big, they don't fit in your pocket, blah, 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 blah. We saw it for what it was. These were small and dinky. But now the situation that these phones were still too small, because nowadays when you get an iPhone, they're this big. And then of course there's the question of size. The white one is the iPhone 4. Then we had the one that came later. Now we have the modern day phone. This is the iPhone 15. And I mean, the iPhone Pro is even bigger than this one. It's all just too big to put in your pocket nowadays. So I mean, you can see on here the difference between the normal iPhone nowadays versus how big the BlackBerry was. I mean, it's almost half the size, and I don't know, it just slips in your pocket. It's got nice plastic back feel with a grippy, you know, it's got a camera tucked in there. It can all, of course, be upgraded, but why can't we have these again? And I mean, it's not like having to redesign the wheel. These have already been designed, they're just old. If they were upgraded, these would be amazing. And I like the idea of only having essential apps. So imagine a phone like this without social media, without TikTok, without Facebook, without X, without all the other Tinders and dating and whatever, and just have the essentials on your phone. So I don't know, maybe with a phone like this, people will find it easier to go out, meet people the old-fashioned traditional way. Maybe without so much doom scrolling, people might actually go out and meet people in the real world, interact. Order food from a waitress. There's a thought. Now, I'm not being a technology snob. I remember these phones and these were great. Call me old-fashioned, but having a keyboard was kind of nice. Having it fit in your pocket was kind of nice. The battery life on these things was amazing. Now, this is, of course, the retro channel. I'm slightly biased. I love old gadgets, old tech, but this doesn't take a lot of redesigning to make a new modern phone. And I bet you, if BlackBerry made a comeback, or if Nokia made a comeback in this way, instead of the all glass phones that we're used to today, like a minimalist phone, I think the market for it would be a lot bigger than you think. So if you ask me, I think the smartphones have kind of lost their way. They're all the same. There's no individuality anymore, apart from what case you put it in. They're all kind of samey. All they end up doing is tinkering with some buttons here, moving the location, changing the notch, changing the number of cameras on the back, and not a whole lot more. And now, of course, Apple's gone in for the new iOS system that's kind of see-through. Yeah, well, I remember all the other changes, but it doesn't fundamentally change the fact that these were brilliant, and I think that these are the future. It doesn't mean that these weren't brilliant and could be brilliant once more. Come on, Apple, come on, Nokia, come on, BlackBerry, come on, somebody, let's bring these back.